Hi, I'm Simon Rushton and this is Taxi Chronicles Podcast. On this podcast, we spontaneously interview unsuspecting passengers with their permission, allowing them to share their intimate life stories and concerns. As our slogan states, real riders, real stories. Some riders prefer to be anonymous, while others ask me to tell their story later on. Either way, there are all genuine 5 to 10 minutes stories, so sit back and enjoy this episode. Morning. Yes, we're back with another rider, another story. Today we've got a guy, really friendly guy. He's from the outskirts of London, but for this show, we'll make out he's one of us. He's a nice guy, really, yeah. And he's for those who've seen the Cuban Danner Jr. movie, I know for the younger generation, millennials, you may have not seen it, but it's got sports journalists in there, and there's a company called ESPN. Yes, well, he's an expert in journalism, sports journalism, and he's going to tell us how he got into the industry, what motivates him, and what a typical day is like. So, nice to have you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. For all the people, like myself, who claim to come from London, but really not. I get grief from the Londoners. So, how I got into it? Just really always liked sport. I'm a big football fan. Support Man United, obviously. Pretty standard. If you support Man United, you're from near London. That's just the way it goes. Just got into it. Really always enjoyed sport, football, rugby, tennis. If there's nothing on, I can put any sort of sport on and watch it. So I just thought, why not make some money out of it? So went abroad. Because that's the only thing I'm really good at, to be fair, is languages. So I've lived in France and Spain for a bit.
How many languages do you speak?
English, French and Spanish.
Really?
So, yeah, I can claim...
Fluently?
Yeah, so like if I'm in like a taxi in Spain and France and somebody asked me to do this podcast in that language, I could probably do it.
How did you get interested? How did you come to learn those languages?
I was rubbish everything else at school, man. I can't even front.
You learned from school?
Yeah.
From English school?
Yeah.
State school?
Oh, no. It was private school. So it was bad.
I was going to say, what school is
what school is that? That's the thing though, for me, like back in the day, like doing the language was mandatory. Like you had to do one. I don't think you have to do one now. So we had to do French. So I was pretty good. I was decent at maths until up a certain point. Science never liked. Geography didn't have a clue. Decent at history because all you got to do is remember stuff. And so, yeah, just love languages. Did languages at uni. Had the chance to go on a year abroad. Lived in 6 months in Spain, 6 months in France. Got fluent more or less there as well. Then after uni, went to live in Barcelona for 3 years. Worked for the football club there. And came back, did my masters in sports journalism, and luckily got the ESPN job. So Here I am.
That sounds interesting. So are you a sports player yourself?
Mate, I used to be in terms of Sunday league football, but not anymore.
What was your position?
Goalkeeper, because I was the most unfit person you could ever meet in your life. But
you're a big guy.
I know, so I could block the goal. I could block the goal, so I was a good goalkeeper. I probably still am, if actually.
You were a diver? Were you one of those goalkeepers who dive?
Went everywhere, man. I'm taking everybody out. I don't care. Taking everybody out. Not really good with the football, but I can block a shot here and there.
Okay.
So it was, yeah. I played a bit when I was abroad, which was fun because different cultures playing football. You see how they do it as well. Used to play on Mondays. I think 8 o'clock, 7-a-side football, really nice. Got to see people just diving all over the place though, man. They just scream into the ref, "Oh, he's hurt me," when there was barely anything in it. Honestly, it was just ridiculous. It was ridiculous. But yeah, not much anymore, to be fair.
So what is it that actually drives you for your, like, the motivation, the love for football, sports in general? What is it?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think it's just something I've always been interested in, and I think a lot of people can relate to the fact that it's one of the best forms of escapism, sport. You know, you could be doing, like today, for example, I'm just going to go home and just watch all the football today. You know, it's just you just escape from reality for a bit, and you appreciate the people that do their craft. Football, for example, you know, even when Wimbledon's on, you watch, you know, I just like, for me personally, when it comes to sport, I just like the way, I like learning how people gear themselves up for it and how they recover from stuff. But I think it's more of like a reflection of life sometimes, man, you know, sport.
Okay, so that leads into, as a journalist, right, when you're interviewing people, what's the kind of questions you ask and what kind of responses are you getting? Because your questions are gonna, I'm thinking, your questions are gonna be based on part personal and part.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that we get taught is you gotta try and find a human story to it. So, for example, I could be interviewing, for example, when I was a unit, I interviewed like a table tennis player, and you know, in order to get a better audience, you can't. You know, everyone thinks they can play table tennis. It's really weird sport. Everyone thinks they're really good at table tennis, but I'm not there to talk about how he got into it. I'm trying to find like a human story side to it in terms of how did you first get into it? What is it like? You know, something that other people can relate to. You know, you don't have to be a table tennis expert to be able to read that. That makes any sense?
So basically, the questions I'm asking you, I could be a journalist.
You could be, yeah.
Okay.
Because you're looking for the human, you know, you're looking for the human side of the story. You can talk to anybody about a sport, but it won't resonate because, you know, if you're talking so specifically to that person about a sport, then people will just, you know, turn off.
Or it only resonates with a niche audience.
Exactly. If you're gonna have somebody on like daytime TV, for example, I don't know, like an athlete who does javelin, and you don't have a clue about javelin, how are you gonna get the audience to watch you? You gotta find, even simple stuff like, you know, your arm must be killing you. And then they'll be like, oh yeah, you know, like I can't drink water for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just got to find a way that can...
So many javelins,
yeah, you just got to find a way that you can resonate with people. People will be like, I didn't know that. That's just like me, for example. You know, I have nothing in common with a javelin thrower because it's such a niche sport. But in terms of, I don't know, them not having an arm injury, them lot, I don't know, suffering from something, or, you know, just a nice little tidbit, you know. That's what we always get told, to look for the human side and then, you know, go from there.
Sales is a big thing then, really, because unless you're interviewing for a niche audience, let's say it's a javelin magazine, I don't know if there is one, then you could be more specific.
Yeah.
But then, in this case, you're concerned, well, not you personally, the company, organisations were concerned about grabbing a bigger audience.
Yeah.
In that respect. Okay. So what I'm getting from you is that you interview anybody in sports.
I can do. Like, me personally, my job at the minute is I work on the sports news desk, so I don't really do the interviews. I put together news stories. So,
okay.
How am I going to put this? So if you go on, like, I don't know, BBC Sport, for example. I mean, obviously I work for ESPN, but if you go on BBC Sport or Sky Sports, you'll see if a sporting story breaks, right, like, I don't know, the England manager, you know, like the England squad, England football, for example, England are playing, I don't know, Scotland tomorrow, right? And then they announce their team. It would be my responsibility to put that story together.
You've got to make it interesting.
No, it's just literally like, imagine you just reading like a news headline. You reading a headline like, I don't know, the COVID vaccine, something simple like that.
You want to have a title that's eye-catching.
Exactly. We're looking for a good headline. We're looking for a good...
How do you do that? Because I have that issue when it comes to doing headlines for the podcast.
Right.
Like, do I, like, for each episode, do I make it a bit sleazy?
I mean, it's up to you.
Make it a bit...
It's up to you. If you wanna try and have like a theme through it, you know, some people, I know, just keep it basic, it'll be like episode 1, 2, 3, and 4. But if you find like a theme throughout the podcast, for example, then you can just go with that. In terms of headlines, what we normally say is just describe. How am I going to say this? In terms of how to write headlines, what I've been taught is, how would you describe the story in a sentence? And then that's the headline.
Yeah, I got that. How
Yeah. So, how would you describe this podcast or episode to somebody? Oh, I spoke to this person. That could potentially be your headline for it. But if you've
if I was just an example here for this episode, I could say ESPN journalist reveals all.
I don't know about reveals all, but
maybe.
Jeez, I've been getting a phone call on a Monday being like, what did you tell this taxi driver, man? So I didn't tell him nothing, man. Just having a nice conversation.
He's one of those people who's trying to get people. He's following your company policy.
What did you sign this contract for, man, if you're giving away all the secrets, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's up to you. It's up to you, man. What
I'm saying, something that's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or ever wonder what it takes. That's a long sentence. Ever wonder what it takes, or what it takes to work for ESPN.
Yeah, or something like, talking with a journalist, or something pretty snappy. I think I'm not really one.
Is there a limited amount of words that you use
for a headline? Not really. I mean, you would know if it's too long for a headline, but we have something called link text, where if you go on our website, it's more or less about 7 words. You have to put it in 7 words, so that the headline could be about 15. Max you have is 8 words to put it in that small bit. So that's really what keeps us alive, man, because that's the bit that draws in the person to come and see it, So, and it's got to be snappy. It's got you can have fun with it. But it's still got to be professional. You can't just take the piss and But it's good. It's just
because if you're putting headlines and it has nothing to do with the content, but it sounds
exactly.
People won't bother switching.
Exactly, and we're not big on clickbait at all. Like we try.
Oh, is that what it's called? Clickbait.
Clickbait, yeah. We don't. Well, we try not to do that. It could be.
We try.
Yeah, we try. Like I can't.
Some days we just look at their ratings. We gotta do it. Clickbait.
Do you know what I mean? But we're good at it, to be fair, because we all work from home now, obviously due to COVID and that. But
do you watch your rivals? Do you as a person in your position, are you very concerned about your rival, how they do it, or do you just we're giving out quality, so we don't really need to worry?
Well, I think we mainly concentrate on ourselves, but in terms of like rivals, if a rival breaks a story and they claim it's from their source, we wouldn't automatically take it because we need to confirm it ourselves. I think that's what we're really good at. If another company or for another sports outlet says, oh, this is happening or this is going to happen in about 10 minutes time, we won't automatically take that and run with it, if that makes any sense. We'll be like, okay, cool, we got people on the ground, we got our own correspondents, can they confirm this? So it's all about communication, and for us, the most important thing is making sure that the story is correct. So there's nothing worse than
getting sued.
Essentially, yeah.
Someone's gonna lose their job.
Exactly, man. So it's all about. I think that's what journalism should be. I think it's getting a bit away from that in terms of online journalism as well, because it is all about clickbait, really.
I had an interview with a journalist, and I was just saying I was disappointed with BBC and CNN and Fox, and they're always trying to push a rhetoric or propaganda, in other words. But I'm happy with Al Jazeera because they just give the news, just give the facts, and you can make your own decision. But he ended up saying to me, oh yeah, but you've got to try and keep them interested, haven't you? As in to justify, when they try and push their rhetoric or make things hyperbole things. And I was just like, that's the problem. The problem is you're not looking at what you should be doing, you're looking at how you can make money.
Yeah, I think some companies are guilty of that. And I don't think online helps either, because, anybody can spew anything online and it suddenly gets a bit of traction in it and it's seen as the truth when that's not really the case. And sometimes you get situations, not even just in sports journalism, you get situations where sports journalists, they'll tweet something that they honestly get from their source, and just because people don't like it, they'll just get hounded for it, and there's some genuine people out there. Some people just take the mick a bit, but on the whole, in my opinion, I think there's some good people out there.
Last question to you, since we've run out of time.
Right.
Very interesting and informative. Thank you. You've
No,
talked quite a bit.
Thank you.
Is what impact do you want to have on the world?
Oh, Jesus, what's he done to me there? What impact do I want to have on the world?
Yes. Well, come on. Answer that
What
question,
impact
man.
do I want to have on the world? I don't know, man. I'm a very... I just care about my own people. Like, I couldn't... It's just right here to the left there.
Yeah.
I just care for...
Sorry.
No, that's right. I just care for my own, man. I'm really not bothered what people think about me. So, if I make an impact by being myself, fantastic. That's all I can really ask for, man. So...
Okay.
So, yeah.
I would have said in your position, it would have been nice to have an impact, because have a mission, because you speak to so many people every day, so you motivate. If you just wait a minute. Well, thanks for that, much appreciated, and yeah, much appreciated.
We hope you liked that episode. Keeping in mind, we never know who we're going to interview. We post twice a day, 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. GMT. Have you ever considered the future economies to invest in? Why not listen to our sister podcast, Africa Investor Stories? Considering Africa has the fastest growing economies and population on Earth, and has done for many years, it holds 30% of the world's known natural resources. We publish twice a week, Tuesday with a guest investor and Fridays talking about investment, politics and history, providing a clear understanding for any potential investor.